All right, so final review day 4. Today is going to be predominantly with done with geometric sequences and series, arithmetic sequences and series, adding them, just writing out formulas and stuff like that. So number 34, we're going from 34 to 44 today, and then tomorrow will be 45 to 55, and we'll be done. Kind of like I told the other class, I am doing every type of problem that you're going to see on your test. Okay, that's why I'm doing 55 of them, so that you know exactly what types of problems you need to know. Okay, sure, the numbers are different, but the instructions will be identical. Okay, so make sure you guys practice these, that way you do well. Okay, I'm assuming the people that took the final early, maybe they missed some of these problems like the ones we're going to do today, because they need to know formulas, and if they didn't write the formulas, or if maybe they didn't see the problem done again, maybe they forgot and missed it. So I don't know, but we'll see. Number 34, given the first term and common difference. So remember, common difference means that it's arithmetic, right? Not geometric. Okay? So this is a arithmetic sequence. It says find the first 5 terms. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to make 5 underlines here because they want me to find the first 5 terms. I know my first term is a 3. And then every term after that has to be 2 less, right? Minus 2. So that's going to be 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. And negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5. And that's going to be your first answer. All right, so number 35. Find the missing terms in the arithmetic sequence. So if you remember, these require you to do 2 steps before you can do any of the work. Okay? So, step number 1. You're going to subtract the right side number. You're going to do the right side number, minus the left side number. Okay? That equals to negative 50. So this is a value that we want. This is step 1. Step 2. Anybody remember step 2? We're going to divide by what? The number of steps it takes to get from one side to the other. Whether you go right to left or left to right, doesn't matter. But notice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps to get from negative 20 to negative 70. Or if you want to go from negative 70 to negative 20, still 5 steps, okay? So we're going to find our D value, and the D value is the number you got from step 1 divided by the number of steps it takes to get from one number to the next, or to the last one, okay? So that comes out to negative 10. This is your common difference, okay? So now to write your answer, all you're going to do is subtract 10 over and over and over again inside of that problem. So negative 20 minus 10 is negative 30. Negative 30 minus 10 is negative 40, and then it's negative 50, negative 60, negative 70 would be last, which makes sense. So this is my answer right here. Whoops, not what I wanted here. All right, so there you go. So not hard to do, but again, might be good for you to write down those steps. Okay, know that you require 2 steps to do that problem. All right, because there will be one and only one problem like this. Okay, it's the 35th problem in the test, but who knows when it shows up? It might be your first one. Okay, but make sure you guys have that written down so you know what you're doing. Okay, if you need to, highlight stuff, right? You can say, well, this goes here, right? Make notes for yourself. You guys are in charge of what you understand when you write it down. So, all right, number 36. Find the explicit formula for this arithmetic sequence. So A sub 1 is 10, D is 4. So it'd be good if we know our explicit formula. So here you go. A sub n is equal to A sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So that's your explicit formula for an arithmetic sequence. So all you got to do is plug in the information they give you, and it appears to me that they want you to simplify it on the final, so we're going to have to do that. So here we go. A sub n is equal to a sub 1, which is 10, plus n minus 1 times d, which is 4. Okay, now I'm going to multiply the 4 into this. Remember how I told you sometimes they don't mind if you leave your answer like this. Sometimes they want you to distribute. So, I mean, what I wrote there in red is a solution, but they might want you to work it out. So we're going to distribute that 4. So that's going to be 10 plus 4n minus 4. Okay, 10 minus 4 is 6. So I'm just going to write it like this. A sub n is equal to 4n plus 6. Sometimes they might write 6 plus 4n. It doesn't matter as long as those two terms are there. So that's your answer for that one. Like I told the other classes, it's not like this work so far has been difficult, but you do have to know some formulas or some steps. Okay? Without those steps, it's going to be pretty hard to get this stuff right. So make sure you guys are writing this down, making notes of it. All right, staying with arithmetic series. Now we have these summations. Now, if they want us to find the sum of that, then that means I need to know the formula for a sum. So here you go. The sum of an arithmetic series with finite terms, okay, S sub n, is equal to n over 2, a sub 1 plus a sub n, sorry, not a sub 2, gets multiplied times that. So in order to do this, I need to know what's my first term, what's my last term, what's my n terms, right? So to find n, you're going to get the top number, okay, this number and this number, and subtract them, and then add 1 to it, okay? So you're going to do 10 minus 1, and then you're going to plus 1. You always add 1 to figure out the number of terms. So this is equal to 10. So I know n is equal to 10. Okay? Then my first term, a sub 1. To find your first term, you're going to plug the bottom number into your equation. So that's 6 times 1 minus 3, which is 3. And then to find my last term, my a sub n, or if you want, you can write a sub 10, because that would be your very last term. That's what n is, right? N is 10. So a sub 10, you're going to plug that number in here. So that's 6 times 10 minus 3, that's 57. So now I have everything I need. I have my nth term, my first term, my last term. So let's plug it into the formula. S sub 10 is equal to 10 over 2 times 3 plus 57. Okay? So the 3 and the 57 are the A1 and the A10. I know they call it AN, but A sub n is 10, right? N is 10, so it's going to be A sub 10. So 3 plus 57 is 60. So 10, actually that's a 5. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And that's 60. And 5 times 60 is 300. And you're done. And you guys will be able to use a calculator. So don't worry if you're like, I can't do that in my head. That's okay. Any questions on that one? Again, important that you guys have this written down somewhere. That process that has to be done before you can actually do the problem. All right, next one. Find the sum of the arithmetic series. Now you'll notice this one doesn't start at 1. Okay? This one starts at 4. So your a sub 1 isn't plugging in a 1, it's plugging in a 4. but we'll get to that right now. So the number of terms, n, is 12 minus 4 plus 1. So that's equal to 9. Okay. My first term, remember, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm trying to fill this in. So I already know I have s sub 9 equal to 9 over 2. Okay, I already know I have that. Now I got to figure out my first term. So you're going to get the 4 and plug it in. So a sub 1 is plugging in a 4. That's 2 times 4 minus 3. That's equal to 5. So let's put a 5 in there. Now I need to figure out my last term, my a sub n, or a sub 9, as they call it. So a sub 9 is plug in the top number. So plugging in a 12, 2 times 12 minus 3, that's 21. Okay, so now I have all the information in there. I just need to add and divide, and let's see what happens. So I get 9 over 2 times 26. 26 divided by 2 is 13, and 9 times 13 is 117. And there's your answer. All right. Again, there'll be one like that because that's the only one we're doing. So that means there's only going to be one for you guys. All right. This one says determine the number of terms. So find your n value if I give you all this information. Now they did say arithmetic series, so I can use a formula for that. S sub n equal to n over 2, a1 plus an. And I'm going to plug in everything I know. I know that s sub n is 150. I don't know what n is, so n over 2. I know a sub 1 is 10, and I know a sub n is 50. Okay, so 10 plus 50 is 60. 60 divided by 2 is 30. And all I got to do is divide both sides by 30, and that's going to give me my n value. So there you go. That one's done. Any questions on that one? Just use your formula. They give you everything you need. Just plug it in, solve for the variable. All right, so everything up to now, from numbers 34 to 39, have all dealt with the arithmetic sequence or arithmetic sequence, arithmetic series. We're going to jump over to geometric, okay? So the rest of these problems, the next 5 problems, have to do with geometric sequences or geometric series. So this one says find the common ratio and the explicit formula. So the explicit formula looks like this. A sub n is equal to a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. Okay, so you just need to know your a sub 1 value, your r value, and you can write it out and you're done. So that's all I have to do. All I have to do is figure out what is my common ratio, though, because I know a sub 1 is 3. That one's already given to me. But what do I multiply by to get from 3 to 6 to 12 to 24 and 48? 2. By 2. Yeah, because 3 times 3 is 9, right? We're adding by 3 if you want to get to 6, but then you don't add by 3 to get to 12. We are multiplying by 2. 3 times 2 is 6, times 2 is 12, times 2 is 24, times 2 is 48. So r is equal to 2. Now, if you're not sure, remember what I told you guys, just divide it out, right? 48 divided by 24 is 2. 24 divided by 12 is 2. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So now that I know my A1 and R value, I'm going to just go ahead and plug that into my formula. I'll take it. Thank you. So a sub n is equal to 3 times 2 to the n minus 1. And remember, sometimes on these tests, they may write it like this. Just kind of depends. Same thing. Okay? Either way is fine. No, that's it. They just want the explicit formula. So that's the explicit formula. Just write out the formula for it. Yeah, the only time we solve from is if they say find the sum or evaluate. So, like this one. This one says evaluate the geometric series. So in order to do this, you guys need to know the formula for for evaluating the sum of a geometric series. Now there's two formulas. The one that I'm writing out right now is how you find the sum of a finite geometric series. So you might want to write that down. Sum of a finite, F-I-N-I-T-E, finite geometric series. The reason why we call it finite is because it doesn't add forever. It's only adding 7 terms, and I know that because n equals 7. Okay? So I know that my n value is 7. Okay, so let's find out the pieces I need. So what's my r value? Say again? It's 3, yeah. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 times 3 is 54. So r is 3. What's my a sub 1 value? 2. And how many terms? So there you go. This is all you need. I always think of this as rain. Do you guys see that? Rain. So r, a sub 1, and n kind of looks like the word rain. Right? So that's the way I always remember this. I have to have rain to do this. Okay? So r, a sub 1, and n. So let's go ahead and plug that in. S sub 7 is equal to a sub 1, which is 2. 1 minus r, which is 3 to the 7th over 1 minus 3. Now, of course, you guys can put this all into your calculator. I'm just going to do this by hand really quick. But you can just put this into your calculator. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. 2 divided by negative 2 is negative 1. 1 minus 3 to the 7th. So 1 minus 3 to the 7th power, and a negative in front of it will be 2,186. That's the sum of the first 7 terms. Now, if you ever forget the formula, just so you know, if it's only 7 terms, and we're multiplying by 3, you can do 54 times 3, that'd be 162. And then do 162 times 3, that'd be 486. How many terms is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then do 486 times 3, that'd be 1458. And just add 2, 6, 18, 54, 162, 486, 1458. And you should get 2,186. If you forget the formula. But there's no reason why you should forget it, because you're able to write it down and use it. So hopefully you don't have to resort to that. But write it down in your notes. You should be good. All right. 42. This is the last one that's finite. Then after that we got 2 infinites. And then we're done. Okay? So I know this is a finite geometric sum because the top number is an 8. It's not an infinity. If it was infinity, that would be an infinite sum, but the top number is an 8. Okay? So I need this formula. And I'm just going to label my value. So how many terms does this have? So it has 8, right? Because it's 8 minus 1 plus 1. So that's 8. What's my a sub 1? 3, right? They give it to me right there. That's a sub 1. And what's my r value? 2. They also give that to me right here. So just plug that stuff into your formula. So S sub 8, let me go back to red here. So S sub 8 is equal to 3. 1 minus 2 to the 8th over 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2 is negative 1, so this will be negative 3. 1 minus 2 to the 8th, because again we're dividing by a negative 1. So 1 minus 2 to the 8th is negative 255 times a negative 3 is 765. Any questions on that one? We have 2 more to go. Infinite geometric series. So whenever you're doing infinite geometric series, the formula changes. S equals to a sub 1 over 1 minus r, given that the absolute value of r has to be less than 1. Okay? Got to make sure that the r value is less than 1. If it is, or the absolute value of it, that is. If it is, then you can go ahead and do this problem. So, what is a sub 1? 1 over 2. That's r. R is 1 over 2. A sub 1 is 100. A sub 1 is first term, right? R is correct at 1 over 2. Because you are going to multiply 100 times half to get 50. 50 times half is 25. 25 times half is 25 over 2. Okay, so it's half. Again, if you have a hard time figuring that out, just do 25 divided by 50. That's half. 50 divided by 100. That's half. It's going to give you the answer, right? Just divide it. So, is it true that the absolute value of half is less than 1? Yeah, so that checks out. So then let me use the formula. A sub 1 over 1 minus r, which is 100 over 1 minus half, which is 100 over half, which is 200. Remember, I'm not doing 100 divided by 2. I'm doing 100 divided by half. So that really means times 2 over 1.
Other tests is going to tell if it's infinite or finite?
No. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. So like I'm writing the instructions the way it looks like on the test. So notice this one says evaluate the infinite geometric series. Notice the next one says evaluate the infinite sum. Now at the very bottom, it says infinite sum. So you got to figure out what they're talking about, but it's pretty easy. You can tell. But yeah, they're not always really obvious, but they give you enough information that you know. Any questions on 43 before we move on to the last one? All right. So notice this one does not tell me that it's geometric, but they did give me an R value, not a D value. So if it was a D value, that's arithmetic, right? R value, geometric. So then you should know infinite geometric. Okay? So the absolute value of R has to be less than 1. Is that true? No, this is incorrect. So you're going to write either no solution or they might write no sum. Because you can't add that up forever. And that's going to be your whole 4th day of information.